Alright, hi everyone. This is going to be the product review for a Micro Draco Model 1 by my company, Koha Industries. I'm just going to do a quick kind of instructional video here on assembly and kind of maybe considerations. So let's get started quickly. First things first is this is a 3D printed handguard designed by myself. For this particular model, there's 3 versions. It's the full-size standard, the minimalist, which is a chopped-down version, and then the AOW, which is the smallest version. Biggest thing to remember is because these are 3D printed in PLA+, they're relatively durable. They shouldn't shatter or crack or anything, but they are subject to melting. In my own testing, I did around 500 rounds, and I didn't see any deformation or anything. But if you're going to be running these in like summertime, Texas, 2,000, 3,000 rounds in some day for some tournament, I'm not going to tell you that these are going to last. I designed these well, but there is limitations with the material itself. So for those of you who do not know, the Micro Draco has a little pin here. If you bought yours used, sometimes they don't come with handguards. Ignore this part here. I've beaten the crap out of this doing so much R&D. Hopefully yours is cleaner than mine. But this little front pin here is where the screw goes in. And so for most, you can buy an M5 screw. So it's an M5 by whatever. As long as it's an M5 profile, it'll fit. It's just whatever you're pinning to the barrel itself is going to determine like what length you need. So for my products, I use an M5 by 30. For this particular model, the Model 2 uses an M5 by 20. We'll get to that in another video, but effectively all you're going to be doing here is this little opening here. You're going to be sliding it in, and then there's this little ridge here that you probably cannot see very well on camera, but you'll see it in person, that when you click it, you should hear like a clicking sound, almost like that. All right? And then all you're doing from this point is matching up the actual hole itself with the barrel and the handguard, and then you're just twisting it through like so. Everyone's Micro Draco is going to be a little bit different because QC is not very good for anything made in Romania, in my experience. The guns themselves are like safe. It's not that kind of QC. It's like sometimes like you'll get a screw that's supposed to be like let's say it's like 5 millimeters, but maybe one is 3, one is 7, and so you get issues revolving around that. But yeah, this is it. It's relatively flush. And then, of course, the other two, same exact principle. The only difference that I will show you now, let me just remove this, is because the profile is a little bit smaller, it's a little bit easier to mess with. Reason being is because there's less material, I needed the ability to check this part here to make sure there's no deformation. And so the way this does is it slides in like so, and then you'll see this little like ridge here. It kind of just hangs like that. See how it just kind of hangs like freely? That's by its design. You'll see like these little stairs almost here. It's so you're able to like mess with it or mount it. When I was doing design, I noticed that there was times where like I would want to adjust something, and on these smaller ones, it just found it a little bit easier to have it able to like hang down, so it's less fighting with the handguard itself to get it back on if you need to do maintenance or something. But yeah, same principle. Should just slide right in. You match it up with the handguard. because it's an exact fit, obviously it's not going to be like, you know, super quick lineup, but it should work well enough. I mean, I run these personally, so I promise you they work, but yeah. Anyway, same principle there. The biggest issue you're going to have with installing these is lining it up with the thing itself. Because these are more minimalist designs, obviously like the regular handguard slides over and it seats exactly. When you're working with something like this, which are minimal by nature, you're gonna have to do some alignment. It will fit. All of these are sized to fit correctly. Same thing with this minimalist or the AOW. Push it in until it lines up, and then make sure the screw lines up. And then you would just screw it in like so here. So yeah, they all fit, but considerations that I would have for this model here, the PLA is relatively strong, so it's not going to peel off or anything. But I wouldn't run a lot of weight on these. If you're going to run any weight, get the bigger one. They're all around the same price because they all cost me about the same to make. So yeah, the way that this has like support ridges here, it looks cool, but it's also practical because it gives more material to kind of like help with weight distribution. Whereas on the AOW, pretty much the expectation is you're running a vertical grip. And so there's only going to be back and forth pressure, not side to side. And this here was designed more around like maybe running a flashlight on the side and maybe something on the bottom here, like a VFG or something. But anything heavy, I strongly suggest using this one because this is designed for weight distribution, and the back is designed as well. If you look at these here, the way I have these things set up, it's not really intended to distribute weight. It can. I haven't tested it exactly. I'm gonna guess maybe like 20 pounds, but yeah, that was not designed with that intention, and so I just wanted to make that clear. But yeah, outside of excessive heat, and I'm not talking about from the barrel, I'm talking about just ambient heat, specifically heat with moisture. That's going to be the issue. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, please leave a comment and let me know, and I will talk to you guys next time.